notes. I like it. We're live. Woo! Wow. It's tough to be a Tiger tonight, huh?
It is.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. We got a lot to talk about, y'all. Normally this is Beyond the Box. It will turn into Beyond the Box, but the women just played in the Elite Eight and lost to Caitlin Clark in Iowa.
It's not good.
Not good. And we're actually going to hear from a fan who was hanging out in Don Juan's watching the game, yelling at the TV, I think.
Why she got to call you out like that?
Hey, man, when you're passionate, you're passionate, right?
You were. So Cliff here, like we said, we're at Don Juan's for midweek baseball games. We have a whole setup. We smoked some cigars, have some drinks. It's a great vibe. It was packed in here for the women's game tonight, which you love to see. Unfortunately, they didn't come out with a win. But I'm just gonna kick it to you and ask you what your reaction is to that performance from the girls tonight.
The initial reaction was basically, we knew coming in it was going to be a tough game, right? But when you have a limited rotation, which is what she has, 6 players mostly, maybe 7, there's a depth concern. And in the first half, it's tie game, no problem. But you saw the lack of depth when it came second half. And they made a run they could never get back. And if you look at what Angel Reese did in the first half, before she got hurt and rolled her ankle, and what she did after that, her field goal percentage was awful second half, but she still finished with 17 points
20 rebounds.
and 20 rebounds. So a healthy Angel Reese makes a big difference.
For sure.
But at the same time,
You're good.
you can let Caitlin Clark get 41, and that's fine. But what you can't let happen is the other girl who scored 16 and went 2 for 3 from three-point range, and then the other girl was 21 points. Let Caitlin Clark have what she wants, but you got to shut down everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I mean, we talked about depth, which you just brought up from the beginning of the season, right? We talk about it all the time with the injuries, people getting suspended, not on the team anymore. This was going to be a concern, but they pulled it off towards the end of the season. It wasn't. They were getting by, and it's ironic that it shows up. The depth concern shows up against Iowa in the second half and loses it for them.
Yeah. When Caitlin Clark is getting offensive rebounds against you too, you kind of just know there was they had a step in them that was way different than LSU had. Yeah. It was very obvious that the depth showed in that second half.
Absolutely.
The pace in the first half was crazy. You kind of knew it too. I was kind of nervous watching that. I was like, there's no way they can keep this pace up for the rest of the game.
I'm looking at the chat right now. We got a good little start here.
I know, we got a bunch of people
David
in there.
Falls brought up a point. You made a comment about it before we went live. He said, so I'm sorry, but the moment was too big for Haley tonight. And I don't know what Kim was doing not starting Flaugier on Clark. Haley Van Lith, reactions, thoughts on her performance
Disappointing.
tonight. I know.
Okay, so there's 2 trains of thoughts here, right? If you put Flaugier on Caitlin the entire night, then you're going to give up some of her offense.
Okay.
Now, if you put Haley Van Lith on her, fine, let Caitlin get what she wants, but then that would mean Flaugier and everybody else, Morrow, you have to limit everybody else.
Right.
So if you put Flaugier fine on her, which I thought they were going to do, they didn't. I have no problem with letting HVL guard her, but then you can't let everybody else score. And what's underestimated, in my opinion, is Caitlin Clark's ability to pass the ball. She's a great assist person as well as she can shoot, but you just can't let everybody else score.
Absolutely. And I think, too, why not have Poa on Caitlin Clark, too? But even Haley with the ball offensively, she just looked hesitant. Even in the first half, there was a couple threes that she had. She looked hesitant. She didn't look comfortable. I don't know. I don't want to be. I hate being a hater, but I wasn't impressed with Haley Van Lith this year. I know there was a lot of things against her. Going from shooting guard to point guard, all the different things. But I don't know. I expected more. I guess that's what I had to say about it. Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Well, the transition from 2 guard to point guard, it's drastically different, right? And one of the main reasons why Van Lith transferred is because she wanted to be a point guard. If she's trying to extend her career to the WNBA at her height, you have to be a point guard. You have to be an elite shooter
Absolutely.
to be a 2 guard in the WNBA at her height, right?
Right.
So come here, be a point guard. Well, guess what? That's really not your position.
I know.
So you got to make the sacrifice. Either you're going to not guard as well, but shoot the ball. Shoot the damn ball and make the threes. She didn't do it this year.
No, not at all. And that's what I'm saying. Even tonight, open threes didn't look comfortable. Like didn't bring anything to the table for me in that position. And then Angel had a great first half, but the second half, I don't know if that's what you were about to bring up, but she forced so many shots. And as a basketball coach and somebody who's been around the game for a long time, one of the big things is like you have to have that kind of IQ with the basket to your back, right? She just turned into double teams the whole night and was forcing stuff, in my opinion, in the second half. The first half, she had great looks and high percentage shots. Second half just felt like everything was forced into double teams. And when you're not hitting outside shots throughout the game in the second half, that was just a mess for us, in my opinion.
Let me start by saying this. I love Angel Reese. She has a great energy, great hustle. Her rebounds speak for themselves.
100%.
But when your footwork is not what it should be, you won't be able to bully everybody.
Yep.
And if you can't catch the ball with your back to the basket, turn and face, see the defense, that makes a great bit of difference.
Yep.
So you can play bully ball for so long, but it's not going to work all the time.
Right.
It didn't work tonight, right? So if you consider what they did last year when they had our point guard who really guarded Clark the whole time, we had a reserve off the bench who hit 6 threes, and the other girl is not there anymore. But we had 3 girls who weren't there anymore from last year. It's a different team, and you can't play the same defense.
Absolutely.
And it showed up tonight.
Yeah.
It just did. Now, I will say this. LSU had many great looks at open shots, and they just didn't fall.
Absolutely.
So the end of the game was, 7 points? If they hit half of their open looks,
completely different game.
It's at least overtime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I think, like you said, too, something that stood out to me and what I've said all year is Anissa Moreau is one of the most skilled players on that team, right? Yes. Talk about footwork and sealing somebody in the paint. How many times did she get open looks at the basket because she sealed her girl, right? That's what Angel doesn't do. She just catches the ball with her back flat to the basket and then spins into that double team. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I was getting so frustrated. That's what I played the post in high school and stuff, and I was so frustrated just watching that because, again, she's such a hustler and she works so hard. You want her to do so well, and she's the face of the team. But Anissa showed what Angel should have been doing, you know. And we had good passes. Poa put some good passes in there. Flaugier put some good passes in there to Anissa, sealed wide open layup. And that's what I think Angel was missing tonight. And that's where, if that down low, if they can just collapse on Angel, and we weren't hitting those jumpers outside, there's no chance in the second half.
And give Anissa her flowers because she got another double-double tonight, too. She had 14 points, 14 rebounds. Again, we've talked about this so many times, about the player she's going to become. She's already up there, but what she's going to develop in and the leadership role she's going to take. Give her flowers for tonight. But, yes, completely
and free
agree
throws.
with that.
Right.
Free throws.
So if you look at the stats, the only person that shot better than 50% was Flaugier. Look at Angel Reese, 7 for 21. Morrow, 7 for 18. Michaela, 6 for 16. And Van Lith, 2 for 10.
2 for 10.
That's not winning basketball.
Yeah.
And with the turnovers, I mean, you combine all of that with the lack of depth and missing open shots.
No, absolutely.
And only lost by 7.
Right, and that's what I mean. Yeah, when it's close like that at the end of the game, that hurts. That hurts you. And again, we're not bashing on, I think somebody wrote in there, Tia Morrow, we're not bashing on Angel. We were just, calling out what we saw and the things that I think, just frustrated us as fans. That's all we're doing. I don't know what David said in the paint, but and Angel does hit some shots. Is that what she was saying?
They're arguing in the chat about Angel being able to shoot.
Okay. I'll speak to that. Angel needs to develop a mid-range game, and she doesn't have it. But then again, consider the fact that she rolled her ankle in the middle of
Yep.
So that prohibited any type of other offense besides I'm gonna go down low.
Exactly.
Turn
100%.
So it puts us at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Injuries happen, no excuse. But there's no depth to come behind them.
Absolutely.
Rested, right?
Yep.
So, you combine those things.
Yeah. And again, we're not bashing on Angel. Angel has some of the best skill in the game. The way you saw in the first half, she stole a couple passes. She dribbles the ball up the court.
She's SEC player of the year for a reason.
Mulkey said it, and Mulkey said it too. Angel has guard play, as a big girl. But again, we were just talking about a little bit of footwork in the paint, a few things like that. But again, when you lose a game, there's always more negative takes than there are positive ones and things like that.
Especially a game at this caliber and with this much media attention.
That's exactly right. So
the officiating. Thoughts on y'all were getting loud and rowdy about some of these calls. What were your thoughts?
Let you go first.
I didn't. I mean, there were some plays that I didn't agree with, but again, as a big, like, I played in the post in high school and things. That's the only experience I have in basketball. But when you turn and you just turn into a double team, it's hard to garner and say that you're going to get a foul call, because that looks like you're a little out of control for me. When, I'm talking about Angel specifically.
Not
I think
a
there were
little.
some other plays where, there was some contact and things like that. But as far as Angel down low, I don't think that there was that many bad calls, in the sense of, because I felt like she blindly just turned into double teams and things like that and was forcing shots versus taking high percentage shots and things like that, where, like I said, Anissa sealed her man or her woman, however you want to say it, and had open looks and that kind of stuff. If Angel did that stuff and then is getting reached over, that's when you get the foul calls.
Right.
Yeah.
So, to piggyback on that, what I would say is this. When you turn blindly into a double team, that's one thing. If you grab the ball in the post player, you can reverse pivot, turn and face and see the defense. She doesn't do that
Right.
normally, but from a basketball perspective, where were the screens? Where was the off-ball movement? I will challenge Kim Mulkey to say, what offense are you running? One, because I see passes, but I don't see screens.
Yeah.
I don't see cutters. Today's basketball is different, right? So it's a lot of 5-outs, a ton of threes, but at the same time, you can screen and pick and roll and do other things. There were several different times where I saw, like, Van Lith and Angel, it'd be a screen when Van Lith thought that Angel should have rolled, she passed, and it wasn't there.
Miscommunication, yep.
Communication is a bunch of stuff. So
Absolutely.
I want to really know what all are you running. Because what you saw tonight was periods of one-on-one basketball,
Yep.
hero ball.
Yep.
When if you play team ball all together, you get better than their percentage. They shot 38.6% from the field and 33% from three.
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it.
No, it's not. And like you said, too, Steph Curry is one of the best shooters we've ever seen in our game, but also if you watch any game and you listen to any commentator, any analyst, he is the best at moving without the basketball. He is constantly moving. He's never stopping, and that's, unfortunately, again, I know we're kind of saying some negative things about Angel, but some of it's not her fault, too, when everybody just passes it and stands and watches, right? They need to be moving so that way they can't double down. If they know that they can double every time because their person is just standing out on the wing and they're not going to hit a jumper when they are open, that's really tough for Angel, So, again, those types of things got to come together. But when, like you said, such high stakes on the line, sometimes you get frozen in the limelight, those kinds of things. Or you're fatigued.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
You don't have the
it's hard to
depth.
move without the
Right.
ball a lot, and just constantly keep running. Sometimes you're just trying to catch your breath and you're like, go, Angel. Right? Like, and you're just kind of waiting for her to do something. And so, again, that's the kind of thing that you run into at the end of the year, game number 36, whatever it is,
Right.
And 7
Right.
people playing all year. So,
Yeah. We're not harping, but bringing up some of the negative things from the game. But I want to highlight the impact that this women's basketball game had. The media, the way it was picked up, the personalities you had on the court, the accomplishments from individuals and from teams, the impact that this singular game had on women's college sports, women's sports in general, untouchable. And I saw a tweet from Caroline Fenton, LSU grad. She works with ESPN now. She tweeted this morning, and I just thought it was a good point. She said, reminder today as LSU and Iowa face off in the Elite Eight, you can celebrate all that Caitlin Clark has accomplished for herself and for women's basketball while also appreciating the passion and fire of LSU. This whole narrative in the media that you have to pit women against each other and teams against each other and take a side, and we're taking shots at Kim Mulkey and 18 to 22-year-olds is ridiculous. What they did on the court tonight, the game, specifically the first half, is incredible, and you have to give those girls their props. LSU included. The season that they had, going through the adversity, coming off of a national championship with the target on their back, they did relatively well making it back to the Elite Eight, facing everything that they did and the stats they put up and the awards they won. So, just to put it into perspective, we are talking about some of the things that could have been fixed and what they could have done better. But give these girls their damn flowers, both teams. It was an incredible basketball game, and both seasons went really well.
Absolutely, and I think what these girls are doing, it's one of the things that we're going to look back in 10, 20, 30, 40 years and be like, holy shit, these people changed the game. They really did. Generational stuff. It's generational talent. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. As much as we want to hate on Caitlin Clark as LSU fans,
right.
That girl does some things on the court that you are like, what the hell? Like,
great point. So I was talking to another fan earlier where you saw Van Lith go on top of a screen.
Yep.
Which is what you want to do on a shooter. Typically, when you go on top of a screen, what will happen is the person with the ball will drive. Caitlin Clark shoots an off-balance, leaning three.
Yep.
God bless her.
Bangs it. Yeah.
You got to give her that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But at the same time, to your point, what you said earlier, Abby, was nothing. I will never discount Caitlin Clark. But remember, it was not just Caitlin Clark that brought eyes to the women's game. The LSU team last year with Angel Reese and what they accomplished, winning the championship, brought a ton of eyes. Great for you, Caitlin Clark, but don't say she brought all the fans. No. I think the LSU team as a whole last year brought more eyes to this game than anything else.
Absolutely.
And what they're doing in pop culture too, right? Flaugier is a rapper that is doing things with some of the biggest artists in the game. Like, honestly,
and like, come on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, signing Flaugier, Angel, and Haley Van Lith all had sneakers deals like Reebok, Adidas, like those Powerade. I mean, we are talking major things that some of these men's, college athletes. I can't name some of the men that I can the women. I mean, Paige, you got Juju, you got. I mean, all across women's basketball right now, that game is a lot different than the men's game.
I mean, Angel was even in a Cardi B video.
That's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys, and I would like to hear what the people have to say as well as this. Right. If you consider Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears, Booger McFarland, like all the LSU that you see on ESPN, it's like LSU. It's almost like, okay, we're tired of LSU almost. LSU in football is winning. LSU in women's basketball is going on. Baseball just won a championship.
Gymnastics, track, swimming, diving, Tiger Girls, across the board.
Is there such a thing right now that can be considered as LSU fatigue? I mean, really?
Outside of Baton Rouge, I would
say.
Yeah.
I do think that is a real thing. I think there's a resentment but that's what happens when you're good at something, right? You're succeeding across the board. People are going to hate you for it, and it puts a bigger target on LSU as a whole because you're winning individual. You had the Heisman winner this year,
right?
On top of the draft picks for baseball last year, Dylan Cruz, Paul Skeens. You're looking at a women's basketball team that is completely changing the landscape of college sports in general. NIL, it's not even just winning on the court. Look at Olivia Dunn, the highest college athlete, the highest paid college athlete. It's across the board. We're winning in every column. So, yeah, I think it's real. I think people get really frustrated with the fact that we're winning in every column, but who gives a damn?
I mean, right here, look, somebody just wrote a comment. Woody Woodpecker is a troublemaker, so I'm sure this guy isn't scared of stirring the pot on social media. What is this lady talking about? Angel Blewett and karma for arrogance, bullying, and false pride. Like the Beatles, get real. So again, it's people want to hate. Again, that person took time out of their day to write a negative comment. Thank you, Woody, for being in the chat. Make sure you go subscribe to our channel so you can bring some more negative energy to us so we can talk about it. But seriously, I think that is a real thing. People are just probably looking for reasons to hate. And, when Angel does little things and she trash talks and stuff like that, they're looking for that. They want to jump on board. It's one of those clickbait things and things like that. What?
As a female, though, and I am going to make this point, when guys get fired up and coaches get fired up and there's trash talk and it's physical, people love it. You eat it up. It's highlighted on ESPN and everything. The women start doing it. It's arrogant. It's false pride. Come on, dude. I love it. We should see that from female athletes. They work just as hard as the men. They should be able to shit talk. They should be able to play that way.
Yeah. Athletes are athletes.
Let them, right?
It's part of the
compete.
game.
That's
I was like so happy in the media that Kim embraced the trash talking like in her media. I was like, I literally commented on SportsCenter saying, I'm so happy that we're actually embracing trash talking and acknowledging that it's part of the game instead of being like, oh my God, they trash. Everybody trash talking has been around forever. It was one of my favorite things to do in basketball, especially I played down low. I was the 4 or 5.
Right.
Grew up in Jersey. I was playing against some big boys, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
sometimes you got to get in people's heads because I'm playing against a dude that's 6'11" and he's going to Duke. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you don't trash talk on a basketball court, something's wrong with you.
Right,
That's what I mean.
that's part of the
All right,
game,
part of
the
the game.
culture. Come on
The
now.
biggest trash talker in the NBA was who?
ever?
Ever.
Oof.
Reggie. I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count.
Reggie Miller?
He's number 2.
Okay. Larry Bird.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Larry Bird was going to tell you what he was going to do.
Yep, and then
do it to you
do it
anyway.
to you.
And nothing you can do about it.
Some of the stories are legendary.
Legendary.
Yes, I mean, that's why his name's Larry Legend. Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, so for example, I'll give you a good example. Caitlin Clark, not the past game before this one, but the one before that one, came off a screen and like pushed the person out the way to make sure they didn't cover the girl that was shooting.
Yeah.
But she's passionate. She plays hard. That's an illegal screen and a push.
Absolutely.
The previous game before this one, she was like going at the referee because but she's passionate. If Angel Reese had done any one of those 2 things, Flage, Mora, whoever, had gone at the referee, had pushed the guy, it's a national story.
Yep.
They're ghetto, they're this, they're whatever. That, I mean, come on, man. Let it be what it is.
Yes.
Let it be across the board.
Stop trying to write a narrative for that kind of shit,
Stop
right?
trying
It's the
to
media,
write a
though, and y'all, this is why we're here. This is why we're trying to change this landscape and the industry. The media likes to run with those stories because it's clickbait. It gets eyes, right? You look at the Kim Mulkey story with the Washington Post this past week. It's ridiculous, right? You hate to see it. Let them play the game. Let the game be the game and write a story about the play. And highlight these athletes for what they do well instead of trying to write a story about their personality or their character because they play the game hard.
And
it's ridiculous.
I'm the biggest LSU fan. At the end of the game, they showed Caitlin Clark's dad in the stands going like this. I loved it.
Cool.
You tip your cap. That's
Right.
part of the game.
Right.
Angel did it right to her right when she walked
Right.
in front of her last year for the
You
national
earned that.
championship.
You earned
When
that.
you
Go
win
ahead.
and you beat us by, well, they wound up winning by 7. They were winning by 10 pretty much the
Right,
whole second half. Like, go ahead. Do it. It's part of the game. Angel was not talking trash. Good.
What did Joe Burrow's dad do? Horns down, right?
That's what
I mean, it's trash talk.
it's part of it. It's part
Right.
of the game. Yeah.
I mean, tip your cap and go on.
Yep.
So we do have a couple questions in the chat. It's been popping in here. We
has
got
been,
40
yeah.
people
Sorry, guys.
tuned in.
Yeah,
Want to
we're-
shout out one to Don Wands for
Don
allowing
Wands,
us
yep.
to host this show here. Dual episode coming at you. We're talking women's basketball right now. We're going to talk baseball in a little bit.
LSU is still down 9-6 in the bottom of the 7th. So
Woo! Yeah, we'll get there.
hopefully we get some stuff going there.
But we do have some questions in the chat. Before I do that, guys, hit that sub button. If you subscribe, we're able to make more content, to do more shows. The support goes a long way, and we're bringing you fun stuff, not the boring traditional stuff. We're going to shit talk. We're going to shoot the shit. We're going to do interviews while shooting basketballs with Anissa Morrow. We do a lot of fun stuff, so make sure you hit that sub button to stay updated with us. Also, shout out to St. Rock 7-3 Distilling in New Orleans. Y'all hear me say it all the time. This vodka right here supports the athletes we just watched tonight, the ones on the baseball field right now. You buy a bottle, and part of the proceeds go back to Buy Traditions, the official NIL collective of LSU. And like I like to say, if you can't sign a big boy check like some of the guys around Baton Rouge do, this is a great way to support the LSU athletes. And you get some good vodka.
Woody Woodpecker, learn how to spell evil, and then you
Lord.
can start chatting.
He's going
you know?
back and forth with somebody
Angel
in the
ain't cocky
chat.
now. Sad Harry.
So,
Stop it.
Karenna Rich, and if I didn't say your name correctly, I apologize, asked what is the biggest difference between the last game and tonight?
What, last year or like the UCLA game?
Yes.
For me, it's hitting jumpers. I mean,
or maybe it was.
I don't know. That's why I wasn't.
Let's go with
go.
UCLA.
To me, it's hitting open jump shots. I mean, somebody did comment in here that Anissa didn't show up tonight. I think she showed up. I think she just missed some open jumpers. That's part of the game, and that's why you lose sometimes. Right? You have your jumpers, sometimes you don't. Anissa Morrow has been one of the best players in the country all year. She didn't hit a few jumpers tonight. That's what I saw, and that affects the game. It does. So to me, those are the little things again where the defense can collapse a little bit. When you hit fatigue and you're running at the pace that they were. I'm sure Iowa knew that too, right? Our depth, that kind of stuff. They're trying to run up and down the court, keep us going.
Right.
When you're not moving with the ball, like we talked about, I think those are some of the biggest things for me that I noticed.
So when I look at it, see Caitlin Clark, of course she had the 41. The difference in the game to me is when you let Caitlin Clark get 12 assists. That's 24 points.
Absolutely.
Besides her 41.
Yep.
So when she beats her man, that's fine. Give her the bucket. if she beats her man, you collapse, and she's passing to open threes, you can't let that happen.
Yeah.
You know, you shut down everybody else and let her get it. But when you let her get 12 assists on top of 41, that's the difference.
Can't. She had a bunch of boards, too. I think she had 7 or 8 boards, too. I think something like that, too. And that's where I think 3 of them were offensive in the second half, where I was like, she pulled the board from Anissa and Angel at one point, too, where, again, that's fatigue. That's fatigue. You know, little things like that where fatigue. That matters. That's an extra possession. When you lose by 7, that's a big – and there was a couple times in the second half where we got it within 5, right? And then they come down, we turn the ball over, then they come score. That's a 4-point swing right there that happened really quick, where if we score one of those, now it's a 3-point game. You get a stop. We're right back in it, right? And then all of a sudden your legs are a little bit more fresh. Yeah. There's a little bit more, you know, step in your game and that kind of stuff. So those little things I think go along. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for the turnovers. Do we have what the turnovers were for LSU?
They were similar, honestly, at one point in the second half. I was actually shocked because
LSU had 13 and Iowa had 12.
Yeah, that's what I think they were similar. Yeah.
So now I guess my question now would be points off turnovers.
That's the big thing.
Right.
Points, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, and it's at crucial times.
Right.
And when you have a momentum and it was 12 points and all of a sudden you just scored, you went on a 7-0 run, then you make a stop and you come down and you try to force a pass, they deflect it and come down and score off it, that's debilitating.
Right.
That's, you know, as a coach, right? As a player, you're like, oh, we were right. And every time that's what good teams do. They learn how to pull away. They learn how to spread that gap and keep the gap. And that's what I think they did tonight against LSU, and it showed, you know, at the end of the game for sure.
Absolutely.
Did you expect that to be the second half? After watching the first half, is that what you expected to see in the second half, knowing the depth issue and
No.
What did you expect?
I really was not, because how they played in the first half, they survived Angel's issue with her ankle.
Yeah.
If you watch the second half, you can see her. It wasn't a fatigue issue. She was just limping up the floor. So if you have a turnover, right, she can't get back the way she normally would get back.
Yeah.
And her not being that stopper, that rim defender that she can be because she's limping up the floor.
Right.
I think that was the difference.
Yep.
That was a big difference.
Yeah.
And it was just it was hard to watch. Now, I'm not one to complain about referees because that's a weak excuse.
Yeah.
But what I did see was we got beat up. In if you look at Angel's rebounds, I think 7 or 10 were offensive.
Yeah.
She's trying to put the ball back and missing again.
She's
getting beat up.
Yeah, there's contact there.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you call it fair on both sides, that's fine. But if we touch them, it's a foul. I mean, it's hard.
And let's make sure we got somebody in the chat, Callan. We don't hate Caitlin Clark.
No.
First and foremost.
No.
And it's definitely not because she's white. So we've been giving her flowers.
Wow.
Right.
No.
If you were here, maybe you just jumped in, but we were saying how generational of a talent she is, how she does things that nobody else on the floor does, how I supported her dad going like this because that's the way the game goes. So
maybe back
just
to
make sure
stream
before
of,
you
like,
say something
15
ignorant.
minutes.
Yeah, before you say something ignorant like that in the
Yeah.
chat, just make sure you pay attention to what we're saying and tune in. That's all. So
we do have some other better comments in the chat, I guess. Carl Dunn, shout out. No, thank you for addressing that.
Yeah, I just want to address
that's
it. That's all.
ridiculous. Anyway, Carl Dunn. Shout out, Carl. We love when you're in here.
Shout out, Carl.
He
He's a
said,
regular.
well, HVL shouldn't have been on Clark most of the game. Missing easy shots might have been Mulkey's worst game of the season. Thoughts? Ooh, Carl.
No,
Bold
that's
take,
a great point.
You kind of called her out a little bit, right? You challenged her and said, what kind of offense were we running? What were we doing without the ball? What screens and things were we setting? So, I mean, I don't know enough about coaching. You probably can weigh in more on that. But
okay, so again, and I'll reiterate this point, right? So if you're going to let Haley Van Lith guard Caitlin Clark, that's fine. Understanding that if you help off of that, you letting her make assists. Let Caitlin get the 2, not the 3. But my opinion, I would have let Flau'jae Johnson guard her most of the game, dog her, fatigue her on offense, because Caitlin's not the best defender. I can't say it's all Kim's fault, but when Kim's making those decisions and Haley's not hitting shots, that combination right there, you have to switch it up.
Absolutely.
How much was Flau'jae Johnson guarding Caitlin Clark in the second half? Like, okay, that didn't work the first half, right? So switch it up. I didn't see a good switch in philosophy by Kim, and I didn't see any screen setting, any off-ball action. So I don't want to get too technical with basketball stuff, but off-ball action is critical in this kind of game.
Yeah. Especially when they're doubling Angel down low, too.
Right.
That's such a huge thing. Yep.
Absolutely. And
that's a main part of our offense. That's got to be huge. And when you're not hitting shots, you got to move around the court to see where you can. You know, just staying stagnant, catching the ball, and just chucking it. Not the answer, in my opinion.
So, do we think Angel comes back to LSU next year? Now,
I think there's no shot, but
the NIL money.
I know.
And is that how you want to go out?
You're right.
The NIL money changes the game, right? Because she could make more money here than maybe going to the next level.
Absolutely.
And somebody told me earlier that she said if they didn't win, she was coming back.
Really?
I don't know how true that is.
Where'd you hear it? What was your source?
One of the Valley Vision interns. One of the girls
we read it on
me,
Twitter?
We'll find it. I'll
we
make
read
sure
it on
I can
Twitter.
back that up. Yeah, I got to be careful with Twitter. Twitter gets me sometimes.
Yeah. Are we slow in the chat, by the way? It's kind of choppy on my end. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi that I'm on. So can you guys weigh in the chat and let me know, so that way we can try to
if it's glitching, type yes. Yeah. If it's not, type no. This is just our way of getting chat engagement up, Brett. Don't worry. We trust your producing skills.
Yes.
But I asked the same question.
Angel and the rest of the team are all classless all year. Fez, are you reading?
That one?
Are you reading headlines? It's the second to last one right now on mine.
Oh,
so he said, let's be honest. Caitlin does everything Angel does, except she can argue and be horrible to the refs, but always called a fierce competitor. But Angel and the rest of the team are classless. Oh, I think he's agreeing with us in that.
Oh.
I think he's saying, he's just saying, I think he was agreeing in that.
Oh, yeah.
He or she, I don't know.
So,
yes.
Sorry.
Facts.
Angel coming back next year. That's a very interesting topic. So, it depends on who she talks to, right, and what she wants. So, if she has the money is there.
Yeah.
Whether she goes to the WNBA, her salary will be much less than her endorsements, right?
Yeah.
Right.
She's already made some good money, so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but if she were coming to me, yes, come back and work on your low post game, because what you're doing right now, you won't be able to do it in the WNBA.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No.
Now, Caitlin's game will transfer better because she can shoot. If you remember the guard from Oregon, Inescu.
Yeah.
Yep. Sabrina Inescu.
Awesome. She was to the New York Liberty. She's an all-star. She can shoot. The current game right now is shooting. So that's not Angel's game. If you're going to be in the low post, you have to pass and rebound. She can rebound, but when she makes those turnovers or those ill-gotten shots off of returning to a double team, to me, she should come back if I were advising her. But that's just me.
And she's also a little undersized for the NBA. Like, in college, she's, 6'3", I think?
6'3",
6'3", 6'4". In the NBA, I mean, that's good height, but there's girls that are 6'6", 6'7" out there that are doing the thing in the paint. So if she's going to try to play bully ball with those girls, I don't think her game's going to translate as well immediately, right?
Not gonna happen.
No, exactly. So I think you're 100% right. She's got to be able to, like you said, turn and face the basket and be able to make a move, go left and right, put the ball on the floor. She's got the skill to put the ball on the floor. You see it when she makes steals and dribbles the ball up the floor on rebounds. So she just got to make those little moves down in the post to be able to do not just back to the basket moves, but be able to turn square and be able to make moves that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
David Falls said Reese is 60-40 to Bolt. HVL 80-20 gone.
I think Haley said she was gone. I thought she said she was gone. I don't know. I thought that was like 100%.
Oh, I missed that.
I don't know.
If that's the case.
God bless Haley Van Lith. I love her game, but she has to be able to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
She's not playing point guard in the WNBA.
No.
One. She's going to be a two guard. If you're going to be a two guard, you got to be more like the girl from the Aces, Plum, from Washington. She can shoot the ball and drive and finish.
Yep.
So you have to. Both of them have to develop their game this summer.
Yeah.
Whether they go or they don't go, you should be in the gym every day.
Yep.
No.
Karena asks, does LSU have a better chance at a natty next year if HVL and Angel come back with Caitlin out of the picture?
I'm going to be honest with you, and this is no hate on HVL and Angel. I was saying this to somebody that was texting me before the game that didn't watch a lot of the games this year. He was just like, my buddy was just texting me, and he was like, who's the best player, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of giving him the rundown. I'm like, I'm excited to see the team. And again, I love Angel. She's SEC Player of the Year. I'm not hating, right? But I would love to see Anissa, Flaugier, and Michaela, and let them be the off. I think Michaela and Anissa are two of the most skilled women's basketball players that I've seen, and I really like women's basketball. I watch it a lot. And Flaugier is obviously one of the best makes great plays. She shoots the rock like incredibly well. So for me, I want to see those three kind of take over as leaders and watch them be the big three next year. I really do. I think our offense is completely different. So I'm kind of anxious to see that. So as a fan, I'm supportive if they come back, and I'm happy, obviously, because we have the SEC Player of the Year coming back. But I'm also really excited to see those other three kind of take over and let it be their team too.
Right. I would really want to see Poa develop her outside shot. She hit her first three and then missed whatever else that she took. She shot an air ball, right?
They were pretty bad, yeah.
If you have a point guard that can defend in this league, that's key. That's one of the key things. Right now, LSU's chances, they're slim. You still got to get past South Carolina because they're reloading and they're reloading and they're reloading. And I really want to see the injuries come back and see the complete team because you can't win in this league with a six-man rotation.
No. We need some depth for sure.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's an issue next year.
I like to see Aaliyah Del Rosario. Yeah, I want to see how she improves too. Right?
Develops.
I think she's going to be a badass. Like I really do.
Once that confidence kicks in.
100%. And you got Samaya coming back next year off the knee injury too. So hopefully we do have some depth down low. But I feel like there's some panic in the room over there. Are we good?
I'm not sure.
Are we solid? Okay, never mind. Sorry. Okay. We're good.
Okay.
Good?
Sometimes it gets real chaotic in that little production room over there, and it catches our attention. We want to make sure everything's good. Abby, are we good? We're good? Okay. We just panicked for no reason. Sorry, y'all.
Baseball score check.
Yeah, that's what I was about to do.
That's what I was about to say because
let's see what we got.
This heartbreaker is not the only heartbreaker that might happen tonight. LSU Baseball and Southern.
Don't say that. Don't say it's going to be a heartbreaker.
We're going to talk about LSU Baseball because it might.
They're about to put it up. Let's see.
Be time to hit the panic
9-6,
button.
bottom 8. Boys are running out of time.
It might be time.
Boys are running out of time. I'll tell you what.
Button.
I'm a little.
Oh.
There was LSU had second and third with one out in the fifth inning. Now I know it's Alex Milazzo, but he's also batting 300. I know we kind of say that he's the weakest catcher of them all, hitting wise, but he's hitting over 300. Dude, safety squeezed. I'm just like, we are desperate for runs. That shows some desperation, I think, in my opinion. I'm like, oh my God, this is not where we want to be right now. But
yeah.
But if you look at Jay Johnson's philosophy, over the course of time, that's not a surprising call from him.
No, it isn't. His game is
right.
And he's done that a couple times this year. He's done things like that where he manufactures runs and things like that. So it's not surprising. It isn't. But it's just, I think, so shocking as an LSU fan, right? Where we're used to gorilla ball, 3-run homers. Right. You got runners on second and third. You're like, all right, dude, we're trying to hit a home run right here and see what happens.
Okay, so I'll get your opinion on this, and you tell me. The way this team is playing right now, I know it's kind of bad, but I see them improving. So by the time the end of the season comes, they'll be where they want to be. If we can just maybe get a regional, not even a super regional, we can just host a regional, I think they'll be able to get where they need to be. But it's going to take some time for this team to develop. There's no Cruz, there's no scheme,
right.
There's no
right.
Oh my God,
Trey Morgan.
There's no Trey Morgan, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be your own team, right? And one of the Nick Saban philosophies was, this is not last year's team.
Absolutely.
Every team is a new team. You can't put the other expectations of that team on this team. Be your own team, right?
Yeah, and that's a common theme across LSU sports. As LSU fans, we tend to get spoiled when we have icons come through, and you get used to the Joe Burrows, and you get used to the Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, and then when they're gone, you have a problem, or you have to make the adjustments of, okay, we don't have these players anymore.
Right.
But that's been look at the basketball team, right? It was a different team than last year. Kim Mulkey said it at the beginning of the year when the media was hounding her about what's going on. Y'all lost to Colorado. This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. And she flat out said, get the F over it. It's a different team.
Right.
Close the book from last year. Move on. Same thing with baseball. You've got to make adjustments considering who's on your team now, not what you did last year.
Right.
I also think, too, right, one of the biggest things that we talk about is there's a lot of new guys on this team because it's not the same team from last year. So getting those guys to have the right mindset and to buy into that work that they did last year is not given to you new guys. Like,
No.
right? That's
Right.
one of the. I was fortunate enough to be on the 2009 national championship team. I was one of the returners for the 2010 year, and there was guys that came in and just thought they were national champions, you know. And it's like, whoa. I was a national champion last year.
Right.
This year is a completely different year.
Right.
There's a new team. We have a lot different road ahead of us right now.
Right.
We lost a lot of good players. Please stop having that entitlement, right? So you guys got guys transferring from different universities, freshmen coming in. There's a lot of different mindsets that Jay Johnson is battling with right now, right?
For sure.
You got parents, you got coaches, you got outside opinions, you got media, all these different things. So I think that's a huge element too that you're talking to. That halfway through the year, 3/4 through the year, okay, now we bought in, we got our ass kicked a little bit, we got hit in the jaw. All right, cool. Now it's go time. You know, now it's time to go to work. We understand we're not the shit, and we got to go to work. We got to figure out what makes us good, and that's what I think this team is going to do. You know, and when you start out the first 5 SEC weekends with top 10 teams, you know what I'm saying? Your work gets a little easier in the second half of the year too. So we gotta stay above water somehow these next couple weeks.
Right.
And then towards the end of SEC, I think we could turn it on and still be all right and put us in a good position to be in regional, super regional.
It's not going to get much easier yet, though. Vandy this weekend, Tennessee next. David False in the chat, our LSU Baseball insider. Fundamental problems with the 2024 Tigers. They aren't hosting a regional at this point. They aren't even in Hoover at this point. They have no leadership vocally on this team.
Oof. That's aggressive.
That's what's
No
called
identity. None.
No identity.
He's just adding more
I mean,
and more.
have you ever seen on ESPN Overreaction Monday?
Yes, that's what it is.
Come on,
Well,
guys.
I was in a different group chat. A couple of my friends were like, Tiger dropping's going crazy that Jay
Oh,
Johnson's on the
God.
hot seat and things like that.
Droppings.
I'm like, all right,
I think
guys.
dropping
like,
spells it all out.
Kick
Yeah.
rocks sometimes.
But I mean, there are a lot of things again behind closed doors that we don't know about, you know, and things like that that coaches deal with, that that people deal with, and stuff like that. So again, these are also the things that come when you win a national championship. There's a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of eyes. There's a lot of people looking into the microscope to figure out what's wrong, and there's a lot of expectations after that. So when things don't go your way, those kind of comments come, you know, and again, we appreciate the fans because that's what we love about them. When we're winning, they are the best fans in the world. But when we're losing, there's a lot of expectation and things like that. So hopefully everybody can have some perspective and
David
understand.
False, not an overreaction.
David,
Hey,
I think, what did somebody say in our chat last week though? Ole Miss when they won the World Series.
They were 5-10 to start.
5-10 to start.
Started
in the
off
SEC.
5-10 in the SEC.
Also, David, we won 23 games in a row my freshman year. Now, I'm not saying this team's going to win 23 games in a row, but those things happen in baseball.
Yeah.
You can get hot. They do have that kind of team that could, get hot at the right time and put the right pieces in place. And again, there's little things. Jay Johnson he put Cam Johnson in on Friday night with 2 guys on, just in the situation where I was like, what is going on here? And so maybe he's throwing people into the fire and just trying different things. So again, it's still early. I think it's still early.
I mean, David and Brady Neal and Paxton Kling have a combined 1 hit in SEC.
David,
come on, man.
Pull it back.
Oh, he's pissed.
Yeah, but did you see that Apo Taco Brady Neal hit tonight? That was nice. That had some juice.
Right.
Let's hang on the positives.
Nice.
So let's talk about this, because to win consistently and win championships consistently, the mindset and pressure is theoretical, but when you're the underdog, you haven't won it yet, you're playing your hard with it, but once you've won it, guess what? Now, not just the eyes are on you, but you're getting every team's best shot.
Yep.
And if you aren't prepared to play the same way you were when you hadn't won one, you have to get that mindset. You have to because once the target on your back, I mean, it's easier to not easy. It's easier when you're not the target. You're shooting at whoever.
Yeah.
Right?
But now, okay, you won one. Okay, let's see. They're coming for you.
Think about every midweek game that LSU is playing this year. Compared to 13,000 when Florida's there, right? And there's 6,000 in the stands on a Monday night right now against Southern.
Right.
Southern don't care. 6,000 is the best fans that they're going to play in front of probably this year.
Exactly.
And it's LSU, the former national champion. Every one of those guys is so hyped. They've had this game circled on their calendar. LSU is like, holy shit, we got to get through this, to the S, right? It's a different mindset. And it's nothing against Southern. It's nothing against these midweek teams. It's just a different mindset. And when you're going against these big dogs in the SEC every weekend, sometimes the midweek games, and when you're pitching 8 pitchers and you're messing around with different lineups, it's a completely different mindset. So to try to get up for those games is completely different. That's the big thing that I think is one of the hardest things after winning a national championship. You have that target on your back, you get everybody's A game, they have circled it on the calendar, and then you have to somehow get up for games that are not Omaha, that are not super regionals that you played in just a few months ago, you know, or whatever last year. So I think that's one of the biggest things. We talked about it before the year, you know, her and I, about what is LSU's struggle is going to be this year. And I was like, that's it right there.
Called it.
One of the things that I struggle with as a coach more than anything else, and I told all my players this, if I want to win more than you do, something's wrong.
It's a problem.
I shouldn't have to get you up for a game.
Right.
Me as a competitor, if we cut the cameras off right now and we play tiddlywinks, I want to whip your ass.
Right. It's
I don't give a damn who's watching, what's going on. And I had a coach that told me a long time ago. I'll never forget it. Coach Steve North, Catholic High. I could be playing my grandmother in the backyard, one-on-one hoops. I'm going to whoop her ass 100-0. If you can't play, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, and my daughter learned the hard way. You can't beat me yet. And then one day she almost did. So.
Well,
shout out Kobe Nelson.
Can you coach her?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but I can't want it more than you.
Right.
I shouldn't have to get you up.
Yeah.
You know, I want to compete and win.
Yep.
Pool, ping pong, darts, you name it. I want to whip your ass.
It's a mindset. It's got to be ingrained in you.
You have to be that hungry for it, regardless of who you're playing.
Yeah.
Can you give us an uptate where we at on that game?
Sorry, I was looking at the chat.
David's going off.
David is going off. David, I mean.
They've been run-ruled twice in SEC
all right,
games.
So they scored a run in the 7th. We got 2 outs in the 7th. It's 9-7. Hayden's up. Runner on first base. 3-1 count. I mean, does Hayden tie the game right now?
Right. You thought the same thing. We're fine. We're fine.
Does Hayden tie the game right now? I feel like this is like his time that he does this kind of stuff. He's facing a lefty.
Karena, okay, so pause on the baseball talk because this comment has come up more than once. Can we please take a second to acknowledge / talk about LSU softball's 29-4 record?
Oh,
on
yes.
the season.
We absolutely
So
can.
Anthony was so lucky.
Softball, now we're really getting excited.
Let's go.
Me too.
I'm a coach, man.
Anthony just had the opportunity to sit down with Allie Newland for Up and In. That interview is great. She is so well spoken. She's got a great head on her shoulders. She talked about, you know, how their season is going, how the team kind of functions, her work ethic, the team's work ethic. I mean, she was wonderful.
She was awesome. I was so inspired after that episode, and I think it's one of those things. That team is kind of the exact opposite of this team, right? They have senior leaders that have been there 4 or 5 years, that kind of stuff. Right. It's been people that have bought into the program. They've worn that LSU Tigers thing. They've lost in a super regional. They have that chip on their shoulder where they want to go to the World Series. So I think you're seeing that in the play, you know, and they lost 4 games in a row, or there are 4 games that they did lose. They lost in a row. But they have bounced back sometimes. Like we said, you got to get punched in the jaw a little bit, and I think they faced that adversity. And the way that Allie responded, and I'm not just plugging my podcast, but just go listen to her sound bites or go watch our Instagram where you only get a minute or 2 of it.
Plug your podcast.
The podcast is great. It's called The Up and In Show. You should absolutely go watch it if you like LSU sports or just like hearing from inspiring people.
Freaking awesome. I mean, just her mindset, just her demeanor. The way I was just like blown away that I'm sitting next to it, how 20, 21, 22 maybe, and I'm just like, you got it. You guys got it. And so for me, this team is one of the most exciting teams on campus right now, and I'm excited to see what they do in the postseason.
And they're a little overlooked. They don't get as much attention. It's hard. I guess all the sports kind of fight for attention here because we're doing so well across the board. But Beth Torina is a phenomenal coach. She has been, and she's got the pieces this year to do it. So credit to softball. Thank you, Karena, for calling that out. We do want to give softball some credit. Definitely go check out that
You
podcast.
like this year's team?
I do. Okay, so hold on. So I have a question. I love this year's team, but I've loved the previous year's teams when we had great pitching, and I've had the pleasure to meet Beth Torina several times.
Yeah.
Just me as a random fan, not knowing who I was, but she's talked to me every single time. Very pleasant. My question is, okay, you've been here 10 years? 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
maybe more,
our expectations are what now? And not that she's on the hot seat, but
Produce,
I
maybe.
want you
Yeah.
to, like, okay,
Show
not
me.
that I would want to go in a different direction, but okay, you've had a lot of time. Let's
Show
This-
me.
Yeah.
show me.
Yep.
They got to go to the World Series this year. I mean, that's what I think. You know, I think they really do. I think they got to punch that ticket. I mean, if everything goes away, they're going to host a super regional, right? Like,
Yes.
or there'll be a national seed.
Yes.
I think they got to go to the World Series. I really do.
Okay, so if you're Scott Woodward and they don't, what do you do? Yee. On the hot seat.
I know.
Right. Answer the
And I
question.
love Beth too. I actually like personally everything. She's a great human. I don't know.
12
yeah.
years.
12. That's what I was gonna say. I thought it was over 10. Yeah. Yeah. I think you got to go. I think you got to go to the World Series. I don't want to say you fire her after this year, but
Right.
I think she's got to go to the World Series.
How many trips to Omaha? I mean, not Omaha. Oklahoma City.
How many?
2?
Two. That's what I was gonna say. 1 or 2. Honestly.
It was. Let me look.
I was gonna say 1. Honestly, I'm
Right.
not 100%
No.
sure though.
Because I mean, like I said, she's done a great job, and I guess the thing that upsets me is, I mean, just like in any baseball or softball, pitching will dominate, but
6.
when you've had the pitching that has come through here
6 World Series appearances.
Yes.
in Oklahoma City,
I don't know if it was Oklahoma.
No, the World Series. Yeah, how many times has she gone to the World Series?
yeah, not really.
LSU has appeared in 6 Women's College World Series.
Yeah, but under Beth.
Oh, under Beth.
That's
Yes.
what we're saying. Yeah. So in the last 12 years, how many times? I was gonna say I don't think it's been 6 in the last 12. That would be
No,
pretty.
no.
I
That would
wanna
be
say
pretty
1 or 2.
impressive. Yeah, that's what I
Right.
was gonna say. Yeah.
So they went in 16.
right.
No, 16, 17, and 15. 15, 16, 17.
Okay, 3.
3 out of 12. Okay, all right.
But 17 was the last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they got to go this year.
They finished 3rd in 15, 3rd in 16, and then 5th in 17.
Yeah, I think they got to go this year.
Right. I mean, what was very interesting to me was to see the transition from the Pac-10-12 that dominated women's softball.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee kind of came
Yep.
in.
Alabama,
And then
right?
SEC, then
Yep.
Alabama came. And then we were kind of doing their thing. And then now it's Oklahoma.
They're
It's
just
just
different.
oh, my God.
But they have some NIL bullshit too that is crazy. Have you guys heard about that?
no.
I don't like speaking without knowing facts, but there is something, just to go do some research.
Right.
Oklahoma raised some crazy amount of money when NIL became legal for the softball specifically.
Okay.
So I don't know the absolute facts and the details of it.
Right.
But there was something that went on there where they got some of the best players in the last couple of years too.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
what I mean.
Okay.
They're doing some crazy things. But again, hey,
Right.
there's rules that allow them to do that now too.
Hey,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
oil money's real.
So just to update y'all on the chat, 13 years she's been here. David Falstead, Thatcher Hurd, period. Jesus, period.
Yeah, he's in the game right now in the top of the 9th in a midweek game, and he has given up a leadoff. Well, there's 2 guys on now, so I don't know what happened there, but
Are we going to figure it out?
Thatcher is, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so let's-
Also, Carl Dunn, I guess they melting down at Wake Forest, too. 4-8
Huh?
in the ACC. Wake Forest.
Oh, are they?
4-8 in the ACC. What?
Oh my God.
Baseball's
yeah, Carl
crazy,
said
dude.
two times they've been, so I trust Carl. Wow. 4-8 in the ACC. Wow. How's Chase Burns doing? Anybody know? Softball's playing ULM tomorrow, 6 p.m. Karina Rich. Is that their? That's a Tuesday game. Who they got this weekend, Karina? You know who LSU has this weekend?
but
Why do I think it's
if they're home, I'll be there.
Yeah.
I don't think they
They're
are.
gonna
I
be
think
there.
they're
Dude, their
out.
stadium is so fun. Like,
They
Oh, yeah.
are
Unbelievable.
Saturday in Gainesville.
Okay.
in Gainesville. Okay.
In Gainesville.
Oof.
Yeah, but shout out to softball.
Worst SEC city in the world.
Hopefully down the line we'll have an LSU softball show. We're working on it.
Come on,
we
Thatcher.
put a bug in
You got
Allie
2-0,
Newland's
so
ear.
we're at top 9. LSU did not score another one, so it's 9-7 top 9.
Okay. We grabbed you for women's basketball, but you can absolutely hang out for baseball if you'd like to.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I have no problem.
Let's talk about Arkansas. Let's talk about Arkansas because what did I say last week? We might get swept.
Why are you proud
Then
about
I
that?
tweeted, no. Then I tweeted, no way we get swept, right? We got swept.
Why are you
I'm not
why
proud.
are you
I'm
excited
pissed.
about that?
Whoa, I'm not proud. I'm pissed. A little bit passionate.
We could have won some of those games too.
Yeah,
That
no shit.
should have won some of those games.
So let's address the first thing. Do not kill Jay Johnson for pitching off. That was, to me, the right call, and we still could have won game one.
Pitching who?
Pitching off.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so either.
But he was getting killed for that. Like, no, that's fine. It wasn't even about a conceit.
No.
So I'll let you speak to this point. Keeping the Friday, Saturday regular pitch, is that better than
100.
moving them up
100%.
Okay, that's our thought too. Okay, all right.
And that's honestly what I bet you it was no need in the middle of the season. Now, at the end of the season, when you go to the SEC tournament, that stuff happens, and you sometimes have to pitch on shorter rest, and that happens. But there's no need in late March, early April to have to do that, especially. And then you throw in there that you're facing one of the best pitchers in the country on the other side.
Smith,
there's
man.
really no need. So why not just keep your guys on the exact? That's what I said. Especially Gage Jump. See it, Tommy. Especially Gage Jump on as the second starter, right, on Saturday. Right. That dude's coming back from Tommy John. Like, I guarantee you that's a big thing for him.
Okay.
And I was a huge routine person. I hated having to pitch on Thursdays when I was the Friday guy. I really did.
Right.
I hated it. So who knows? Maybe Jay went to Luke and said, what do you want to do? What do you feel more comfortable with?
Okay.
Like, it don't matter. Like, it's up to you, you know? And I don't think it would – I don't know. Again, everything happens behind closed doors, but I didn't look at it that way, that it was a conceit at all.
Yeah, I asked you about that, and when you explained that to me, I love that move. I really don't waste Holman on a matchup with Hagen Smith.
Oh my God! I got to see if that's Braswell at short, but whoever's at short just let a ball go right through their legs. I don't know if it's Braswell. No, it wasn't. It was Milam.
Okay,
Milam.
I was gonna say.
It was Milam.
The errors cannot. I mean, it literally lost.
But
the
it's
game
now
on,
10-7 in the
Friday.
It's 10-7 and the bases are loaded with one out.
Oh Jesus!
This is no bueno.
What is
7.
What is the team fielding percentage? Do you know?
It
I
can't
don't
be
want
good.
to know.
It can't be good.
I
don't know.
actually don't want to know.
Yeah. I mean, this is ugly.
Okay, so the Thursday game, you faced the best pitcher in the country, essentially. What, he had more than 10 strikeouts?
Yeah, 10-plus strikeouts. Now, I will say, I was watching that game. I almost watched most of the game.
Right.
That umpire gave them a lot of pitches.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that he wasn't that way on LSU, but it is really hard when you're facing a lefty that's throwing 95 from here with a banging slider, and the umpire is giving him pitches that are 6 inches out and 6 inches down to a righty. That is really hard to do. So, and yes, you can adjust, right? And you can be on those. Oh my God, it's 12-7, double. Oh my God,
it just
12-7.
keeps getting worse.
Yes, you can get on the hitters a little bit to say to adjust to the zone, but again, when you're facing a major league arm like that, like Hagen Smith is, that's really, really tough.
Okay, but my retort.
Oh my God, it was an error. It wasn't a double.
I was just going to say, the errors are crazy.
What the fuck are they doing?
Another error.
They got the force out at home, and then
It's
whoever was
fundamentals.
catching threw it to first. Brady Neal threw it behind the runner. Jared Jones didn't catch it, and 2 runs have scored. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, so back to Arkansas because that's
No, you're good.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's depressing. But their approach at the plate on Arkansas Thursday night, they got him out in the 7th inning. Yeah. So now you feast on their relievers, and they didn't do it. And we came close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, and one of the things that
shout out the Marine Corps. But anyway.
I think you said it too. They only had to use 2 pitchers, so they had a guy come in right after Hagen Smith, and that guy carved us up for 3 innings. And it was a close game. And then in the 8th inning, I think it was bottom 8, right? Guidry comes in, gave up a 3-run homer that put it away. So when you're only down 1 run, or it was a tie game, it was really close. I forget what it was.
Right.
But having that momentum going into that inning, where it's like, damn, we stayed in this game with their guy without our number 1. That's a huge thing going into the 9th inning, right? Putting the pressure on them, like they should have blown us out in that game where you had the lead, and then they did, right? So that, and again, that's why you bring in Gavin Guidry, hoping that he was going to keep that close. But
I was literally at the bar in the casino in St. Louis, erupting. The people at the bar like, what are you talking about? Like the LSU game, what are you talking about?
yeah.
And I watched the 3-run home. I was just like,
Yeah, we were in it in that game, and,
no,
that's
we
what
could
really
have had
hurts.
it. We could have had it. Okay, so
Yeah.
games 2 and 3.
The games 2 and 3, Holman didn't have his best stuff. Walked 5 guys, right? What?
I like that you put shoulda, coulda, woulda on here.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean, and it was, again, now it worked out all right. He did walk in a run, Cam Johnson, but I don't think you should have put Cam Johnson in that situation. I don't think he was ready for that situation. I don't.
No.
I would have to go back and listen in the media to hear Jay Johnson. I don't ever want to question Jay Johnson. The man won a national championship. He is one of the best coaches in baseball, and I love Jay. I really do. So I'm not questioning it. I just was perplexed when that happened as a fan. I was like,
okay.
I thought Will Helmler should have came in. They were warming up side by side.
Yep.
And he put in Cam Johnson, and I was confused at why he did that. Cam struggles with control right now, and with 13,000 people at Arkansas in that kind of game. Now, granted, hindsight's always 20/20, right? It didn't go as well as we had hoped. But if he strikes that guy out or strikes two guys out, who knows? Maybe he's now this stud lefty pitcher and he has this confidence and things like that. I'm sure that's what Jay was going for, right? But I didn't love that situation for Cam. And it proved to be kind of a situation where they took a run lead and they carried that until the 8th. And then we tied it in the 8th, brought Thatcher Hurd in. He did well in the 9th. But then there was an error in the 10th inning. Yeah.
That poor kid.
I know. Thatcher Hurd right now, he can't catch a break, even when he's doing so well. So.
He came in there, made a case for himself, and kind of looked like that's where we've been talking about him coming out of the bullpen, and he fits that role better. And then the error happens, and it's out the window.
Right.
And Michael Braswell at shortstop, I've seen too many errors.
I know.
I think he's got 8 on the season. And to be a shortstop in a program like LSU, 8 errors, unacceptable.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but it's
no,
the truth
that's
of
facts.
It.
That's facts.
You can't have it. And I mean, he's got more because he made one tonight too. So I mean, there's definitely more going on. Although I will say that I thought he was going to be struggle swinging the bat, but he's batting over 300 now.
Right,
so.
right.
You have been questioning him.
I've been questioning the bat, but he's been swinging.
Every time you do it, he
So you do got to give him some
flowers.
flowers. Yeah, exactly. Give him some flowers there.
We switched
but yeah, it's time to make some fundamental changes. David's saying, I think Carl's saying that this would be the 4th time in school history that LSU would lose to Southern if it finishes out this way.
Oh my goodness.
4.
So question. So the move to bring Cam Johnson in, questionable at most, but if you bring him in now in high leverage situations with a crowd, maybe down the line that pays dividends, right?
Yes.
I mean, that would be the only way I could justify that is go in, whatever you do, fine, but if you got to get used to the crowd, the noise, the situation, hey, I'm gonna throw you out there, see what you can do, right?
And then there was even a time the bases were loaded and Jay came out. I thought he was going to take him out, but he left him in. And that's when he walked in the run, and I was like,
oh, man.
Luckily, he wound up getting out of it the next batter, which was nice. But so he only gave up that one. But that's where, I think that's what he was going for. And I think, realistically, I'm sure he was trying to get it out. But in game 2 of the series where you have a chance to win and still salvage the series, I was like, this seems like a Sunday move where maybe we had lost 2 games already, type thing.
Right, yeah.
Where I was like, this is a crucial part of the series. Like,
right.
If Will Helmers comes out and gets punch out, it's tied going into the 8th. We have momentum on our side. Who knows? We score 2 runs. You bring in Thatcher Hurd. He slams the door. Thatcher's got some momentum as a closer now. You win game 2. You go into game 3 with your number 2 pitcher. That's a completely different scenario for me, and that's where I was like, wait, this seems off for me. You know, like where the risk reward wasn't there. Where
got you.
You maybe make his mental go a little worse if he loses it. So that's where I was just like, I don't know. It didn't do it for me.
Let me ask this question, and it might be polarizing, but we keep watching the way that we question what Jay Johnson is doing, right? We're not the coach. He's won a national championship for LSU. He is one of the best coaches in the country, but when is it okay to question situations like that? Like, when do you start to question those things?
I think it's okay to question it now, and I'm sure Jay, that's what I'm saying. I kind of want to go back to the presser. I'm sure somebody asked that, and that's probably something I would like to find out. And if we had an opportunity to talk to him there, I would have asked that. I would have been curious. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking that. I would love to know what his mindset was. So are you saying questioning his coaching decision-making in general? I think it's a little early for that.
Yeah.
I think it's early for that. I do. I think he's done enough. His resume speaks for itself. I think he's done a great job. And, again, he's a great leader. He pulls those guys together. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that he is battling right now as a coach, that are kind of against him. So I think it's a little early to question that kind of stuff.
When I ask that question, I'm not saying we
should be
questioning him right now, but just out of curiosity, when do you start to look that way? And, hey, man, like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think another couple weekends is something like that. You give them another couple weekends to figure out roles and figure out who guys are, and Again, these guys are young. They're transfers. Like Cam Johnson is the #1 recruit, highest recruit that ever made it on LSU's campus. He's trying to figure it out to see, fuck it, man, let's go.
Right.
Let's see who you are. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a part of me that likes that, you know, but in that situation, I didn't love it. So that was it. But I do respect what he did there, and I appreciate it, and I think he gave Cam an opportunity, and that's all these kids can ask for, right? When you come in as the #1 recruit, that's where you want to be pitching. Friday nights at Arkansas against the #1 team with the bases loaded, right? Figure it the hell out. You know what I'm saying?
Show up.
Yeah,
right?
Show up. And so, I don't know. There's a part of me that really likes it. Again, I just think that we could have set that kid up a little better for some success, and that was my mindset. Especially, again, now if he was just getting hit around a little bit, that's one thing. Figure it out, dude. Miss some bats. But when you're struggling with command and you can't find the zone and you're skipping balls and letting them fly, that to me was like, no, you know, type thing. So I don't know. But so maybe that's the pitcher in me.
Of course.
Jay's a hitter, so.
So question, Abby. In regards to questioning Jay Johnson, and in multiple sports, sometimes you can kind of feel your team out. You want to always, of course, win as many games as you can, be the best you can be.
Right.
But if he's making moves now for this year, maybe in terms to grow the team for next
Build the
year,
program,
what do
right.
you say about that?
I am always torn on questions like these because you can go back and forth. Focus on what you have now versus set up for the future. That was a football conversation that we talked about with Brian Kelly.
Right.
You know, was this year just to try to prep for the future because our defense wasn't cutting it. They didn't have the pieces. Are we just going to X this and focus on the future?
Right.
I am not necessarily a big fan of that.
Okay.
I think you should be present and focus on the team you have now. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to prep and prepare for the future and kind of get these kids to put them in situations like that where down the line, later in the season or in the next year, they'll be in a better position. I like the approach of taking what you have now and figuring out how to make it work rather than trying to prepare for the next season. And I said the same thing about football.
Okay.
Granted, football was a little different. You literally did not have the personnel on defense. The coaching was horrific. That's why we saw Matt House go. Like, it is what it is. Staff is cleared. That was a staff issue for sure.
Okay.
Baseball's definitely a different position right now.
Right.
But I'm going to throw that back at you. What do you think?
Okay. Then I'm throwing it in. So normally you would take your midweek games, try to figure stuff out, right?
Uh-huh.
But the pressure's not the same versus in a midweek game
versus Southern
versus
Arkansas, right?
Arkansas or Florida at the box or wherever. So you put these kids in these high level situations in an atmosphere that you're going to see much later on.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I'm not Jay Johnson. I'm just a humble basketball, softball coach. But I will say, I would love to know, like you said, I would love to know what his mindset is right now. Of course, get the best out of your team currently, but like if you don't have what it takes right now, then you have to put those guys in those positions so they'll be used to it later on, whether it's later on in the year
or
and we can
another
do something,
season,
right? Or next year, right?
I agree. And to me, and again, this is where I'm undereducated, and it's just because I'm not behind closed doors, right?
Right.
There's been a few things where I think Jay can have some opportunities to put some younger kids in that I actually have liked, and to me, they've shown some really good shit on the field. Like, and put Cade Anderson in on Sunday and let him start on Sunday in the SEC. He should have started that Thursday night game at Arkansas, in my opinion.
Okay.
Javen Coleman's a stud. I like Javen. I think he's a great arm for us and valuable and creates a lot of depth. But I think that should have been Cade Anderson's start. Hey, dude, you want to be the Friday guy and you want to be this dude?
Show me.
Next year, here's your chance. Go. #1 team in the country. Go, son. You know what I'm saying? Jake Brown. That dude came in as one of the best two-way players in the country. He started opening day. And again, there's been some rumors, some things that him and the coaching staff are not super tight right now and things like that, and he maybe have stepped out of line a little bit. But I think it's about that time that we get over that. We give this man an opportunity in the SEC. He's batting 300 still, and the things that and Pearson's batting 240. I mean, when do we give that kid a chance in right field again?
Right.
Like, we haven't even seen him on the bump yet. Like, so little things like that where I'm just like, what's going on here? And again, I don't think it can be too much worse than this right now. So again, like that's my opinion.
Right.
And
right.
I don't want to ever question some of the great coaches at LSU. It's my program. I'm an alumni of it. But I want us to be good, and I want these kids to thrive. And so I think there's a couple of kids that we could be utilizing better and giving them some more opportunities. But again, I might be undereducated because I don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
But from a fan's perspective, that's what I would love to see.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a balance to your question. Like you always want to be preparing for the end of the season when it counts, or the next season, and putting kids, young kids especially, or guys like Cam Johnson in those positions to be able to mentally get used to that kind of thing and gain the confidence for the future. But I don't think it's fair to the older guys who are on the team now who might not be on the team later, like in, say, a senior,
Right.
to just focus on the development of the young kids for the future and kind of not take into account where you're at now, if that made sense.
David and Carl, why won't we see Brown on the mound this year? Like you guys both said that, so I'm curious what have I missed that we won't see him on the mound this year?
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean he should be starting in right field. Like he should be our right fielder. He was our opening day right fielder. I want to understand why he's not getting some chances. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off.
No worries. So I'll throw it back to you, Abby, in this sense. So based on what you just said, how do you balance the needs of the program versus the needs of the individual, and then you count that against the plethora of talent? When you recruit like he does, you have so many studs waiting. But if you don't give them enough chances to see, to figure out who belongs where, I mean, that's a conundrum, man. I mean, it's what's called rich people's problem, right?
Yeah.
So needs of the program, needs of the individual, development of young talent. I mean, that's hard.
As I say that, Jake Brown strikes out. How to say it.
Oh, man, that was shitty timing.
But David said his parents won't allow it to happen.
Oh, there's some tea in the chat. What does that mean,
boy.
David?
Oh, boy.
Elaborate.
Oh, boy.
Also, to kind of go off of what you just said, that's why I'm not a coach. That's why guys like Jay Johnson are top-notch coaches.
Right.
That's why I sit on a couch and talk about sports that I do know.
Yeah.
He gets
And
paid
the
$1
parts of
million
it that
to do that, yeah.
I do know. Yeah, I
right.
don't get paid $1 million to coach baseball. Sorry. But yes, I agree with you. Rich people problems kind of
Oh,
thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Boy, it's going to take a miracle. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth right now.
David, you can't drop a bomb like that and then not explain why his parents won't allow it to happen.
He chose to play outfield with all the pitching arms. So I guess he made a decision and declared before the season, maybe? I don't know. Interesting. Bingham fly ball to right, and that's the game. That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
LSU just lost to Southern at home on a Monday.
For the fourth
Monday
time in
Blues.
school history.
4th time and oof. And it is. Like, they're celebrating, and rightfully so.
Oh, yeah.
First win at LSU since 2005. 4th win all time in series. Wow. But that's the difference right there. There's nobody in the stands for LSU, right? It's a bad loss for LSU, but they had 4 hits, 3 errors. Oh, my God.
The errors.
4 hits?
David
4
Falls,
hits.
there's not a 2024 signee that couldn't play over any other 2024 current player other than the one named Tommy White.
There's not a 24 that couldn't play over any other 24 player besides named Tommy White.
I mean,
Okay, so we can now switch to football recruiting
Yeah.
You got
This
me
is
there.
to a happier topic. Man,
Jake Brown won't pitch at LSU, period, this year. Okay, so we still might see him. Goes for all sports. It's crucial to allow young players a chance to play. Softball has 8 seniors and a strong freshman class, but I haven't seen them play. Yeah. Well, I think that, like we talked about, Karina, like that senior class for softball is a lot different than the guys that are on the field for baseball right now.
Yes.
So the guys on the field for baseball have not done the things that the girls have done on the field for softball. There's not Gold Glove winners. There aren't All-Americans. There aren't people like that on this team except, like David said, Tommy White. That's the only guy that has established himself that has a safe spot on this team. Nobody else has done that. So, yeah, that's why we want to see those.
To the
yeah,
team.
it is. Yeah, very subjective. Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, we need something to switch with baseball. That's 4 games.
Oy vey.
That's 4 games. We won our midweek game last week against Southeastern, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's good because
Kate
we lost
Anderson.
Sunday, obviously.
Thoughts on him throwing the midweek?
Did he pitch today?
Yeah.
He started?
Yeah.
How many
he
did
went
he pitch?
2 innings.
Yeah.
6 Ks.
What's it,
He
Monday?
he gave up the home run.
Tuesday,
that,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
No.
But maybe that's Saturday because it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Luke on Friday, Gage on Luke on Thursday, Gage on Friday. See if Jay puts him in the Thursday, Friday roles now, if he moves him up a day. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that'd be tough. I mean, to not do it last week and do it
exactly.
That would be like a panic move almost.
I know. That's a bad situation right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Ugh. I don't envy where Jay Johnson is right now. This is not a good spot for him, but
I know we keep talking about the amount of pitchers that Jay Johnson just rolls in, and Kate Anderson, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. 8 pitchers.
That's too much.
On the mound tonight.
That's too much. That's too much. There's too many moves.
But what's the reason? And when Kate Beloso was on the show last week, he did say that Jay Johnson likes to slow these games down. A 4-hour, 40-minute game is what?
It was almost a 4-hour game.
Yeah,
the game. It started at 6:30.
6:30.
Oh
okay,
no,
so
but I'm talking about.
3
Kate
hours
said
and 20 minutes.
one of the longest games he played was 4 hours and 40 minutes, and Jay said if the game's not at least 3 hours, like he's not content.
Yeah, he's not
so
happy.
He slows
He's doing
it down.
something wrong.
And is he just throwing pitchers in to slow it? I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
8 pitchers in a midweek against Southern.
I think we got to get Jay on the show. Honestly, I think we really do. I think we got to try to get an interview with him.
I would
love to.
That
I know that's what I mean. I would like to know. And
not
just
judgmental.
I know that's what I'm
just
saying.
So
I want to
curious.
know. I want to ask him a question and understand. Hey, dude, everything that I was taught in baseball. Talk to me why you want to slow the game down because. As a pitcher, I was told we want to speed the game up, and that was the whole point of the pitch clock and all these different things. So, again, I just want to understand it. I really do. So I don't know. I really don't have an answer for you, Abby. I really don't. It seems off to me, and it's frustrating as a fan watching the game. I'm just being honest. Like I don't want to watch that. I'm watching it because we're recapping the games. I'm gonna be real. But I wouldn't be watching our midweek games. I would love to know our fan attendance too. Like I really would because. On a Monday, who's going to take some time out and sit there for 3.5 hours and watch a pitch? Like, it's not fun baseball. It's really not.
You lose the attention.
Yeah.
And David Falls said the simple truth, the young players right now just don't give a shit. They don't care. That's a damn shame.
I think that goes back to what we talked about, too, though, in entitlement, right? We kind of heard some rumors, and I'm not going to say who my sources are, but this happened. There were times in the fall that LSU freshmen and transfers showed up to bars and pulled we're a national champion to try to get in and not get covered.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm not trying to blow and talk crap, but I'm saying that's an entitlement thing. That's a thing that should not happen at LSU, and that's a thing that you have to retrain people's minds. And that's what I'm saying is Jay Johnson's up against some things that are tough, right? It's a different world. The phones, the attention, all these things that kids are getting at an early age, right? These kids that come in that wore the USA uniform, some of them have thousands of followers coming in here and have this entitlement view that they are just going to put this LSU uniform on and be a national champion. And it's not earned. And so that's why you're not excited for a Monday game against Southern, and it comes back down to a mindset. It doesn't matter who it is, when it is.
No.
Go out there and win this fucking game.
Okay, I am not going to disparage Southern
No.
in any way, but a Southwestern Athletic Conference team is different than other Division I teams.
100%.
And you can roll out 8 pitchers, you can roll out 10 pitchers. They should be able to win this game, regardless.
100%.
You have 4 hits, that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
And how many errors? 3?
3
3 to 9.
Come on,
yeah.
man.
tonight alone. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And that's David kind of said. That's a mentality. Errors are a mentality. Those things are. That means you're not locked in, right? Like that's not physical. We have the guys to be able to make those plays. That shit shouldn't happen.
If you're at LSU, you have the skill, but the mental part is where. Damn, David. He said, and the parents are being very chatty too.
I just want to sip my tea.
So much tea. I know.
I just want to sip my tea. I don't want to dip too hard and spill and start talking too much shit about this LSU team, right?
No, but
we're not. We're fans of LSU
First
baseball.
of all, parents, as a coach, the first thing I did, sign a contract. What you're not going to do is you're not going to coach from the sidelines. You're not going to ask me about playing time. If you're not out there on the field, at practice, I don't want to hear about why your kid's not playing.
Yeah.
And whatever commentary you have, you're not in the locker room, not in the practice field. Parents should have no say in anything. And with social media being as big as it is, you do your child a disservice by commenting on things you don't know.
100%.
Let it go. And I'll say this also. As a fan or whoever you are, to tweet at a college student,
Oh, Lord.
stop it. You have no life. Comment on anything else, but to tweet at a kid or a recruit
Yeah.
or anything else, what are you doing with your life?
Yep.
Leave it alone, man.
It's why I don't coach, and it sounds sad, but it's like I did try to coach a little bit, and the way that parents and it's just family members, all of it. It is a bad situation right now. And these phones and the voice and the opinions that has given people. That's what I'm saying. Is the entitlement is outrageous.
Right. Yeah.
And these kids and these parents think that because you have a following, because you have a Twitter, because you can say something on the internet, and some random person can back you and like it or whatever, it gives you validation that isn't real, and it doesn't apply to the real world, in my opinion. You know, and that's what. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not going to coach and let people subjectively make their opinions about stuff and weigh in and deal with politics. Like, I'm just not going to do it. So that's what I'm saying is Jay Johnson has his hands full with a lot of things right now that are just tough. Things that people didn't have to deal with 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's just real.
And that man works so hard. We've heard it from every single person that has come in contact with him. How long he's at the field, how early he's at the field, how much hustle he puts into everything. I mean, he was right back at it right after they won the national championship. So I can only imagine the different things that he's got to deal with on a daily basis. But yeah, 4th loss to Southern in school history. Not ideal for LSU baseball where they're at, especially going into a series against Vandy this weekend on Thursday. They play Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend.
Yeah, we got to figure it out. Let's wrap this up in a little bit because this is depressing.
I was going to say, I don't have much else to say about that game, to be honest.
It is. I'm an LSU fan, my man.
Oh,
Congratulations.
No. Yeah,
Southern
look.
fan.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it.
That's in my cap.
Look, both of y'all, huh?
Yep.
Hey, I went to LSU my freshman year, so I'm going to always be Tigers.
Yep. But, as a former LSU baseball player and a fan of the program, this one hurts. It stings. It's tough. But hopefully they bounce back. And baseball is a game of opportunity. It's 3 days away, but you still have another opportunity on Thursday. You take 2 out of 3. You sweep this series. It's a lot of different spirits, So hopefully something good happens on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, and/or Saturday. And we'll be having some better conversations hopefully this weekend.
Absolutely.
Recapping those games.
Let's manifest that. Tomorrow's a new day, new opportunity. Thank you for joining us. I know we kept you way longer than you planned.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you've been a regular here since we've been doing our shows.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Absolutely. Shout out Don Juan's.
Yes.
Shout out Don Juan's.
Don Juan's is a great experience.
You guys can catch us at Don Juan Cigar Bar after midweek baseball games. Again, you got a double feature tonight with the women's basketball game. Unfortunately, didn't end the way that we wanted to, so no more recaps this year, but we'll keep them coming for baseball for the rest of the season. We'll be here after midweek games for the rest of the season, and then on Sundays, or I guess Saturday in this case.
Yep, at Modesto, yep.
We'll be at Modesto after the last Vanderbilt game.
Karina, thank you so much for in the chat. You were a chat MVP tonight, so shout out everybody that was commenting in there and having a conversation with us. This was awesome. Even the negative comments, we love them. We like to banter. It's part of it and stuff like that. So we just ask that you try to keep it respectful and positive, as much as you can. But we like the banter. We really do. So thank you guys for being in there, and all you people that were LSU fans and commenting and giving us stuff to talk about. We truly appreciate it. We wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. Tough night for LSU. It's time to wrap it up. We need to go to sleep and start tomorrow fresh. Right. Turn the page tomorrow. That was ugly for LSU tonight. I want a new day tomorrow. Let's start again tomorrow. We'll see y'all Saturday. We appreciate y'all. Peace.